Magna Story Sound presents an unabridged recording of Aurora's Pride, written by Annemarie Brear, read by Janine Birkett. The moral right of the author has been asserted. This performance is owned by Magna. Chapter 1. Yorkshire, 1898. Aurora sipped the delicately perfumed tea. Over the rim, she watched their neighbour, Julia Sinclair, chat idly to her mother, Winnie. Despite the outward appearances of two older women enjoying a high tea, Aurora felt the undercurrent simmering in the room. For the past 3 years, most Tuesdays she and her mother took a leisurely walk through the gardens and across the lawns dividing the two properties of the Sinclairs and Pettigrews. And on each visit, Mrs. Sinclair did her best to assert her prominence over her lower neighbour. Aurora wished her mother would stand up to her, but it wasn't in her nature. Winifred Pettigrew was as affable as a puppy, and as kind as an elderly grandmother to anyone who ever gained her acquaintance. But with each Tuesday tea, Aurora grew more and more attuned to Mrs. Sinclair's belief that the Pettigrews were beneath her. Years of living side by side, their families' children growing into adulthood together, the shared events and celebrations did nothing in Mrs. Sinclair's eyes to close the social gap. The Sinclairs were old money, the Pettigrews were new. That was the difference. It was a difference which could never be ignored by Mrs. Sinclair, and suddenly, or at least in the last year or so, she had made it clear that the gap was widening as her boys started looking for wives. Aurora and her 2 younger sisters, Bettina and Harriet, were not for the Sinclair boys, the heir and spares to a large and impressive fortune. Aurora gazed around the room, noting the new Chippendale piece on the far wall, and above it a recently bought painting, a constable, perhaps? If it had been anyone else's house, she would have gone to study it more closely, but she hated adding to Julia Sinclair's conceit. Over the years, Mrs. Sinclair had redecorated and removed nearly all traces of the previous mistress's touches in the hall. It was, in fact, a shrine to her own taste and judgment, which Aurora grudgingly
Sample complete. Ready to continue?